We are Suzi, Martin, and Julian, and we are driving from our home in Seattle, Washington, to Kelowna, British Columbia. Over the next week, we'll eat, swim, and play our way through this part of Canada that none of us have ever been to before. Join us on our Canadian beach vacation. The adventure got off to a really exciting start because we were like 15 minutes away from home when we realized we didn't have our passports.
And it was a close call, the closest I've ever had, but we did get the passports. So now we're heading straight for Canada.
That is by far the easiest border crossing I think we've ever seen.
So there were two ways to get here, and the other one was perhaps a little shorter, but it involved going through the main road, the main highway, I-5 to Canada from the USA, and then crossing through the main border where it's always a nasty line, and then going through the busy parts of BC. But now we get the scenic route.
Do you have your passport, Juju? Wow, he's already over it. So immediately after crossing the border, we were greeted with like these really nice orchards and like fruit vineyards and everything, and we kept going until we got to the town of Osoyoos. We drove by a public beach and it had a lot of people compared to the beaches on the Washington side, which were pretty much empty. So yeah, very, very different already just by crossing that border.
Yeah, that is because for them, you know, everything is north of here and colder than here. Well, for the US, everything is south of here and warmer than here. So for them, this is much more prized land. We're walking into the farmer's market, and one thing to know is that this area is one of Canada's best for orchards, and it's also Canada's wine country. So there's bound to be good farming here. Nice music, really.
Well, the farmer's market was more of an arts and crafts market, which was pretty cool, but they did have some food that we ended up getting. It was like a truck with like kind of fusion food, but we had these pierogies, which had a really amazing sauce with them, and also our first poutine, Martin's first poutine ever, and this one had duck confit. So it was a slightly fancier poutine, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was really good.
Coming. Simply stunning, awesome place. We would love to stop at the beach right now and swim, but we have to get on our way very soon.
Which is hard for all of us to do, but especially Julian. I know you want to swim. We'll swim later today, I promise. Well, that amazingness is called Gyro Park, and it's at the end of the commercial strip. You just keep walking down the street and it leads you to this giant public beach, which also has some green space. It's got concession stands and it is full of people, so that is definitely the place to be today. Since we're doing a very driving heavy road trip with a 2-year-old, it's definitely challenging, so we're trying to time our drive or chunk our drives up into smaller little bits and time them around Julian's nap time, and also make sure to stop to give him some time to play and not have to be cooped up in the car all day. So yesterday he actually napped the entire way over, or almost the entire way over. So we had to spend a little bit extra time in the afternoon tiring him out, but wasn't a problem because we actually found a nice playground nearby and he got to swim in the pool. So that wasn't too bad yesterday. Today we have about an hour's drive remaining, so we're stopping to give him some lunch. We know his favorite foods. He really likes fruits and he really likes meats, so we have that to give him. Alright, well, we've arrived to our accommodations for the next few nights. It's an Airbnb and it's in Kelowna. So we'll show you around the surroundings later on, but before we unpack our things and throw them everywhere, I'll give you a quick tour. So we're on the 4th floor. There's a big parking garage down below, which is a little confusing at first, but we did find our way. Walk in. There's a nice full bath in here actually with a stand-up shower. Have a really nice spacious bedroom in here. Another full bath in here with an actual tub, so a little more spacious. Another bedroom in here. We've got the full kitchen. Very nice. A little dining room. And the hangout space. Look at this hangout space. I bet you're gonna climb all over that couch, aren't you? Ooh. Very nice deck. What's in your water bottle? What is it? What's on it?
Tigers.
Tigers, that's right.
A water bottle.
Yeah, that was his responsibility to carry in from the car.
A couch.
I'm trying to teach him how to carry his own things. Couch.
We took a trail ride outside our condo where we're renting, and now we're on some kind of marsh park walkway above the water.
So this trail as a whole is really nice because we're able to walk from our front doorstep past the community pool all the way down to this waterfront trail that will take us to downtown.
Yeah, the place looks pretty walkable. I saw dozens and dozens of restaurants. We're not going to run out of things to do here for 4 days that we've rented. And here is the beach, on this side at least. This is not the main beach. This is the more northern beach on the northern side of downtown. Right here you have lodging and boat and a lagoon. And on this side you have the beach. We're trying to teach Julian to walk straight and where we want him to walk based on our plans. It's a bit of a struggle because he gets excited and he goes in the water.
He's learned the word today, patience. He came up to me and was like, patient, patient. I was like, yes, you've been very patient today. Our first beach day in Kelowna, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. Ooh! It was cold.
Worth driving to Kelowna from Seattle even. It's very nice here.
Hi.
Hi. We're taking the night walk on the beach here. It's so nice.
That's right, it's actually 8 p.m., believe it or not, but it is so busy here. It's awesome.
And in the north we get sunlight till like 10 o'clock here, so
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Dear. Right, it's our second day, actually our first full day, but our second day in Kelowna, and we are off to find some coffee and some food.
Part of what is happening in Canada right now is they are just building like crazy, and it is all credit fueled. In the same time, they're importing millions of immigrants by the year, so it's like this project basically to urbanize, to make it denser, to increase the population, bring in more immigrants. It may add up, it may not. It may be a huge bust and that will be painful, but at the moment it's all around here. So it might be that eventually they overinvest or whatever, they borrow too much, but if you look now, all around here, even in the interior northwest, high-rise is going up like Miami. I read before we came here that they gave an ordinance to build high-rise and make it an urban environment by increasing the density, and we're seeing it all around us. It's because they think that is easier to make such cities sustainable, walkable, not dependent on cars, and they're actually going full steam ahead, while the USA as usual talks the talk but it drags its feet when it comes to these things. We arrived at the coffee shop. It's quite large.
This morning we looked for a coffee place, and one of the ones closest to us that was actually highly rated was called Sprout Bread. They serve not only coffee but also a bunch of bread-based sandwiches and toasts. So we each got a sandwich. I highly recommend getting one, like any of them. They all sounded really good, and the coffee was also quite good. I got an iced mocha. Martin got a pour over, which took, I don't know, close to half an hour to get, so that part wasn't so great, but to their credit, you know, it's a really big space. There's outdoor space, upstairs space, downstairs space, very, very busy, and lots of people. So if you have patience, definitely recommend checking that out for food and coffee in the morning. Now across the street from that is the start of the cultural district here in Kelowna. So to my left looks like a theater of some kind, and nice little walking path, which is great for Juju because it really tested his patience as we were waiting for coffee just now. Oh, what did you find there? Ogopogo! It's eating an apple. Ooh, a Canadian apple. So if you're not familiar, the Ogopogo is kind of like the Sasquatch of this region. It's like or the Loch Ness Monster, as you can tell by the depiction. So it's supposed to be kind of snake and dragon-like, living in the waters somewhere out here. I'm not sure which body of water it's supposed to be in. Lake Okanogan. Okay, it's the Lake Okanogan Loch Ness Monster equivalent. So going back to some of our first impressions of being here, it gives us similar vibes to Lake Chelan, which is over on the Washington side. And it's, you know, someplace that a lot of people in Seattle visit because it's so close. But this is way bigger and more exciting than Lake Chelan.
Yeah, it's more developed here. The lake itself is much larger. And all around their houses and the proper roads and everything in Chelan, there's just a tiny bit of development on one end. And then you can take a boat and go for hours, but there's no anything. So the two countries actually treat this region differently. Canada treats it as something coveted to develop because it's warm, and the USA treats it as something to preserve the nature and so on because it's remote for the US and northern.
We have found the Ogopogo. It looks rather friendly.
Yeah, Ogopogo.
If we keep walking past this commercial strip, we get to the big city park. The beginning of the city park, truly, because it's a pretty big park. And it lines the side of the lake here. I already see Juju out there running through the grass. So we're coming up on the little splash park here, which is actually on. I thought it was off. It's just not so obvious from a distance. Next to that is a full-blown skate park. And right across the way from that is a very big outdoor playground. So obviously prior to kids, this would not have appealed to Martin and I at all. We probably wouldn't have looked at it twice. But now that we have a kid, we're starting to understand why these facilities exist and even plan our trips around them, just to make sure that there's enough for Julian to do outside, because we want him to be an outdoorsy boy. And it seems to be paying off because he definitely loves being outdoors. Cold, huh? Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Well, the splash park was a hit. That was Julian's first splash park, actually, or spray park, and he loved it.
One thing to say that I keep thinking since we've arrived, the climate is so perfect for summer vacations because it's not over the top heat and it's also dry, and so there's a little cool breeze. You don't roast so much. You're not really bogged down by the heat like when you go south in the summer.
Yeah, I would say it's obviously to taste. Some people do like that, you know, super intense, humid heat, but we actually, maybe we've lived in the north for too long, but for us, this is the perfect temperature.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yesterday the line for ice cream was brutal, so we saw where they're lining. Now we're gonna get it. Must be good. We got ice cream for everybody. It's really good, really creamy. I got London fog with bergamot.
We got a vanilla, or no, strawberry.
The ice cream.
Yeah, with strawberry.
We're pretty strict about the sugar, but we'll give him ice cream in the summer.
How could we not? Like, that's just a quintessential thing to do as a kid. And it's good ice cream. We're getting some of the best ice cream ever, so.
We're walking the main shopping strip now. Soon, actually. Here still restaurants, but beyond here, it's shopping. No Arc'teryx, unfortunately.
But there is Lululemon, which you guys probably have heard of, and it is actually from Vancouver, BC. But yes, we're walking down Bernard Street, so the beginning of it is, you know, like a lot of the eateries and the bars that are pretty busy, but if you keep going down, it gets a little bit less crowded, but still lots of places to eat and grab some food.
Here you can see high rises going up. Like I was saying, they're starting to do that more and more here based on a new ordinance. And it will make the city much different when they do that. There'll be quite a lot of high rise in the downtown. I am not sure where the population increase is going to come from or whether they have the jobs to pay off all this. That remains to be seen. But they're building hard.
just had dinner at the most unexpected place ever for a really good beef rendang, which is a brewery.
Yeah, a brewery that has a lot of fusion, and in particular Asian fusions, along with some traditional American stuff. It was very good, everything was very good, and we were pretty satisfied. The space was exceptional, actually.
Kind of has like a lodge vibe on the bottom, but if you go upstairs, there's even more seating, and there's even a bowling alley and a bocce ball court.
Yeah, an arcade event to pinball.
Yeah, it was really well done. It felt pretty classy in there. And very kid-friendly. So Julian ran around the entire thing, at least twice. So when I was doing some research on some of the best places to get food and coffee in this town, I checked a bunch of lists and, you know, saw which ones were cross-referenced. And I'm noticing that a lot of those places that I saw on those lists, like, we're just walking by as we're taking a casual stroll through the city. So that just shows how walkable everything is and how there's really good food and coffee in between. The next day, we ventured an hour outside of downtown Kelowna to see the farmlands.
We arrived at a beautiful farm. A lot of people are here and it's gorgeous looking, so it seems like a big attraction. Beautiful truck here. We are going on a train here in the farm, and it's Julian's first time on a farm to understand where the food comes from. So now he's looking at apple trees and he sees apples are growing on them. You see the apples, Juju?
Apple.
You see they grow on trees? Now it looks tomatoes are growing now.
The view is amazing.
Little boy on a farm.
Located in Vernon, Davison Orchards is a family-run farm that's been operating for over 87 years. It has plenty of family activities, including a train ride around the farm. This 120-acre farm has 5 types of fruit trees, including 20 varieties of apples, which are sold on site. So of course we had to try some, especially their freshly made apple juice.
Apple juice.
Next, we headed down to Cal Beach on the northern tip of Kalmalka Lake.
Another day, another beach, another lake.
That's right. This one looks really pretty, like if you're up above, but when you're actually here, it actually looks kind of murky. But it is also a lot warmer, and there's fewer waves than the other beaches that we've been at, so it's a little bit safer.
Yeah, the one is muddy, that's why it's muddy.
Yeah, exactly. The bottom isn't as nice.
Yeah. End of the day, and it's been an all-day travel pretty much. We went north in the valley where it's more green and there are 2-3 more lakes or something like that, which is pretty intense, right? Everywhere there's a stunning lake. Beaches are just amazing around every corner here. Water gets warm more than California's sea and ocean do, right? So what's the downside? Then we had food at a pretty good place called Skinny Duke's Glorious Emporium.
The vibe is like from the 70s, and it's done really, really well. And the food is surprisingly really good. It has a really eclectic kind of fusion menu. But all 3 items we had were really good.
Yeah, I recommended that one for sure. Now the time is to take a walk through the waterfront, really. This is the main city park, which is right on the beach. And it just goes around, and you see downtown Kelowna, you see the hills there, West Kelowna, and all the wineries and cliffs and villas over there. It's a really pretty place with everything seems to be really high quality. Is it cool? We have to make sure we get out of
For our last full day in Kelowna, we once again headed outside of town.
So we're here today in West Kelowna, where there's a lot of vineyards with views, which is a very classic Okanogan thing, it seems, which we want to do and film. So we're spending the day on the west. There's some beaches, but everything is a lot more suburban. But the benefit is actually that you have farms in the middle that are really gorgeous, like the vineyards and the orchards.
So we stopped and had breakfast at a diner, and it was pretty good. Like, it wasn't, mind-blowing food, but it was a step above your average diner, where you get your breakfast and brunch. So that was good to start with, but hopefully we can find another commercial zone that's a little bit more cute.
Supposedly we're heading towards a nice historic village with beaches called Peachland, and we'll see what that is like.
So as we're driving out, you can see that there's a bunch of housing here. Looks like a mix of townhouses and standalone houses, and brand new ones, in fact. So they're still building. So this neighborhood is pretty new. I mean, closer to the water, those houses looked a little bit older, but right now they are building tons of new housing out here. Okay, that beach looked like it was nice from the road, but it's hard to tell. So when we actually went up close to it, it also looks very rocky and there's a lot of waves. So not quite the best spot either. So we see one in the distance that we're gonna try to check out in person, and hopefully that will do it.
We found the main part of Peachland, gorgeous place. A little narrow, let's find a spot. Children are going in.
It's right next to this inflatable water park, which we've seen in other parts of Canada, but it's nice because it's a landmark, so it kind of tells you that this is a developed beach area.
All around us is amazing backdrops. In every direction you're surrounded by this valley, lake and highlands and villas on the side. Just swim, he moves.
Yeah.
You might want to come here, Medina.
Oh, that's cold, but it's good. This might be proof that we're becoming true northerners, but the temperature of this water in the lake is like perfect. It's so good. It's nice and chill. It's like refrigerated, air-conditioned water surrounding you, which is really nice on a hot day. Okay, watch that, don't jump into it.
Going to this point, how high-end, how high quality this area is compared to everywhere we've been in the world, and it's still mostly an undiscovered gem.
Yeah, this whole stretch that we're driving, there's basically little private beaches everywhere, and so you don't have to crowd in one place. There's lots of little places where you can just pull over and relax, and you have the whole beach to yourself, and we've seen lots of little groups doing that.
Who's a little beach goer?
Someone's ready to swim. Well, we just had one of our last swims here in Kelowna. We decided to hit up our condo pool, and Juju really liked it. We swam for almost an hour.
It's basically a beach pool vacation, and it's so crazy that one of the best times we've had with that kind of vacation has been in Canada.
Every single time we've gone swimming, actually, we've gone somewhere different on this trip.
Yeah.
And there are still more places that we could keep adding to that list. So yeah, there's a lot of good places that we'd like to return to here. So we're off to our last dinner here. We're thinking of hitting up this place called Central because it's extremely close to us. Like, it's just right around the corner from where our B&B is.
There we go.
So this is actually breakfast. It just sounded like a good idea. We had to get this ice cream one more time before we left. So this time I've got London Fog. These are so good. I will come back just for a scoop of that. Well, these are our last couple of hours in Kelowna before we leave. We just had our ice cream. Now we're taking one last walk through the park.
Yeah, it's nice to see the view again, but we're gonna see it a lot from the car too. From now on, 3 hours of driving, but Julian has to expend some energy so he sleeps well in the car.
Are you cozy?
Cozy.
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 So altogether, this was a massive win and a surprise for the positive. Wow.
Yeah, I've always heard of Kelowna, but I had no idea just how good it was here. And, you know, obviously it's to taste. Some people may not like it here, but we really like it. This is definitely our style of a place that we like to visit. It kind of reminds me of Santa Barbara in a way, because it is by a beach, and it does have a lot of like walking zones, a lot of commerce, but it is a newer version of it because there is so much building happening here.
It's also 4 seasons. We're interested what happens in the winter when the snow comes, and that's one of the reasons this place is intriguing. But right now in the summer, it's actually a really high quality summer vacation with beaches and everything, good food, and we can do our beach hopping. When our kids are older, we can do hiking, which we didn't do today because Julian is 2. But there are hikes in every direction, there are boating in every direction. It's just so good in so many ways that are high-end. This place is gonna blow up, trust us. Today the whole thing is that we're going from Kelowna all the way through this Kettle River Valley, which goes towards the USA. Now we're going down to America, back towards the Columbia along this other river called the Kettle River. And there, near the confluence, we have our lodging, maybe an hour and a half out of Spokane or something like that.
I want to see.
You see sheep?
Yeah.
I see flowers.
A flower pile.
It's quite the adventure getting here, but what the grounds are is like amazing.
Amazing. Oh. Strawberries. And that one.
Well, we made it to our accommodations for the night. It was quite a drive, but yeah, this is a really cool winery and a very cozy little overnight cottage. There's a little place to lounge, table, chairs, big bed for everybody. Ooh, we've got the bathroom, cute little tub, and another room. Pretty different from where we were staying for the last few nights, but it's always nice to come out to the countryside and stay in these little B&Bs to support businesses, but also just to experience life out here because, you know, as much as we love the scenery, this isn't quite a lifestyle that we personally would want to live in, you know, full-time or even part-time. It's a little too remote for us. But for one night or for a few nights, it's really nice to experience it. It's a great off-the-grid experience that we can give to Julian.
So we drove like half a day, but it's truly rewarding because... You want a hand? It's rewarding because this place is... Oh, okay.
Okay, I got it.
She's coming.
Come, Gigi.
Okay.
There you go. Stay by us. All right, well, we're strolling through an organic vineyard. Maybe our first, actually. But it is home to some very delicious organic wines.
Yeah, we did the wine tasting and now we're exploring the land and the riverfront. This is truly a magical place. We drove half a day to get here, but it's like stunning, honestly. Everything is just right. It was made off the grid over 15 years by a family.
50 years.
50 years,
50.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty intense. So all around you is forest and vines and the Columbia River. Pretty baller, honestly.
Oh, I see it down there. Yeah, so we sampled wines. Between the two of us, we had 12 wines, and there were, I think, a couple more than that. So there are at least 15 different wines here. Unique because they're all organic, so they're free of sulfites. They can help if you're someone like me who's allergic to wine. I do think it started to get me towards the end, but it is different, a very different tasting than your typical wines that you have.
We're walking the path along the Columbia River to look for a beach right off the winery. Here's the Columbia. Here's the little boy and mommy hiking through the forest. It doesn't get much better than this. You got your hat on?
Hat on.
Yeah, you got your hat. You got your water.
Good boy. Oh.
So Suzi and Julian are actually braving the water, mostly because it's really hard to keep Julian off it. But this is the Columbia River, a little tiny cove. Typically I would say rivers are a very distant third from lakes and seas when it comes to going in the water. Maybe even oceans are better than rivers because of the currents, they're treacherous. But if you find yourself a little quiet cove and know what you're doing and don't go mess with the actual river current, you're fine. There, we're all in the river now.
It feels so good. This is a great temperature. You feel good?
Very.
Very,
Good.
very good, you see.
Yeah. Feels nice.
One of the main things we want to accomplish with raising Julian is that he's not living in this artificial, superficial city environment 100% of his life. Because we are aware we live in a city, but our city is so close to nature and so well connected to nature, because within 30 minutes or even within the city you have old growth forests, seas, lakes, rivers, everything, and then you come out and you have infinite wilderness where we can do this. And so Julian will not be per se the city kid, you know, or we try any moment we get to get out in nature.
The big bear.
Good.
Feel good?
I should have
Yeah. Okay. You like the water?
water.
Feels good?
Fish go.
Yeah, we just do it for a little bit because it's cold. We don't want to stay in for too long. But if you stay in for just the right amount of time, then you come out and you feel so good. Mm-hmm.
A family moment.
Yeah, we're all hiking.
One moment.
A moment.
Hiking in the forest next to the river, next to a vineyard.
Yeah, Juju is riding. He's very happy. He said amazing.
Riding.
Amazing.
Riding.
Riding, yeah, riding.
You're riding on Dada's shoulders.
Daddy's shoulder.
He went in the river with mommy.
Mommy
We went swimming.
swimming.
Yeah, it's a good day.
A good day.
Yeah.
We're having a real treat out here, eating in the garden while it's raining and sunny at the same time. And all the salad we're eating is from the garden out there. Totally organic, homegrown, everything, heirloom. You don't get this. It's so good.
Back to dig into this broccoli soup. I do love broccoli. Oh, that's delicious.
What's that?
Probably the best broccoli soup I've ever had. Broccoli.
Broccoli.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's the best broccoli soup I've ever tried. I don't want the recipe.
So good. We weren't expecting any food, to be honest. We were kind of like, are we gonna have to drive an hour to the general store to find some food? But this is a nice surprise. The food is very, very good. And the setting is even better.
What's that?
Sheep.
Yeah. It's sheep.
We're having the most lovely breakfast out here in this vineyard that we're staying in. Julian's been playing all morning with some dogs that are white poodles and he thinks they're sheep. But now this pancake breakfast is pretty mind-blowing. How is that for a setting?
So good.
And the plate looks magical too, with flowers they put on the table.
Juju's first golf course, or golf cart.
The host gave us a little golf cart to drive to the garden. I think it's Julian's first time on a machine like this.
Yeah, it's cool. Golf cart.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's a nice way to get around actually.
There's the garden.
Yeah, this is a really... Oh, here's some tomatoes. Yeah, look at those. Nice dog.
Plants?
Plants, yeah. You see the plants? Nice plants. Nice dog. Wow, that was such an unbelievably nice day. We're kind of sad to leave, especially because there's going to be happy hour and a birthday party later today. So there's a lot going on here, surprisingly. And this is somewhere that we definitely want to return to.
Yeah, that's right. I expected it to be very remote and honestly isolated, but it's actually full of people and they keep coming for things.
But it is actually kind of remote and isolated, so a little surprising that there are people, but it seems to be like this is like a community hub of sorts, and so a lot of people do stop by for various things, which is kind of nice. You always have people around when you're here.
The hosts were really great people and they seem to have done really well for themselves in all ways. Like they have this land and it's immaculate, everything is just perfect. It's been built up with several structures, gardens and vineyards, and produce comes out of here and events are held here, and yeah, just well done. I'm surprised.